So I've been playing Forza Horizon 6 there over the past few days, and it is a super duper refreshing experience there, especially when it comes to racing games in general. I haven't really touched one there since probably Forza Horizon 2 for the Xbox 360 a couple of months back. But I've dabbled in a few, but Forza Horizon 6, this iteration there of it, has really kept me impressed and has really kept me engaged there with the whole game, and I'm really enjoying it. Just down from the bottom of the heart, just really fucking enjoying it. Welcome on in, everyone. My name is Near Distance, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about just Forza Horizon 6, how it's making me feel, how it is portraying itself there as a fantastic racing game, using that clinical and pretty iconic at this point Forza Horizon Festival formula in the way that the game plays and the way that you go through its campaign, taking a little dabble there in some online activities there, and just kind of speaking about the things there that I enjoy about the game. However, one main topic that I wanted to cover just briefly beforehand, I finally built the fucking desk. Fantastic. I can't believe it. It took me a couple of hours there to get done, and I've got it fully finished like 11 p.m. one night, and I've finally been at this new setup there now for a few days, and it's been so much more comfortable there comparing it to the other desk there that I was sat at. It was absolutely fantastic. So much more space, just the space of it. I was heavily considering a corner desk, but I realised that what I wanted was just just one plane where I could shift left, shift right, and I don't have to turn or have any sort of like awkward angles there, especially with the chair there that I use with the setup. But yeah, I'm very happy about that now, and I'm finally back in the saddle, finally back to being at the PC full time. Well, for the vast majority of it anyway. But yeah, I have been enjoying it there so far, coming back to the LPC with buying a brand new game that just came out a few weeks back there, Forza Horizon 6. I'm telling you, if you guys are into cars, if you guys are into racing games, I would sincerely give this one a pick up and give it a go. I know in the UK for the standard edition, the one that I picked up, it's 60 quid there at the moment on Steam, and for someone who has been heavily involved in other like mountain pass driving, drifting, Eurobeat, Initial D, these passions there that are all coming together, that I used to be a big part of. It used to be a big part of my gaming kind of thing at the time, for that sort of rotation. A few years ago, it has really hit home, and I'm really happy there to be playing a game that is as close to what I used to experience there back on some GTA 5 custom servers. But yeah, I'll go on to what I'm actually doing in the gameplay there in the background. So to explain, Forza Horizon 6 has unique events all under very similar categories. So you'll get races, cross-country races, dirt races, 2K events, street races. But the ones that I'm going to be focusing on in this video are strictly speed zones, but danger signs is what you're seeing there right now. Pretty much a danger sign is essentially a really long jump that you need to hit. The longer the jump is, the higher amount of stars there you get, and there's a threshold there to where if you fully complete the full 3 stars, you complete that quote-unquote event, and that will give you XP there to perform or be entered into the next main Horizon event. You win that event, you get the next wristband, and with all the wristbands there that you collect, you unlock more challenges, more races to partake in, to then build up to get the next wristband, and so on and so forth until you finally max it out. And I think it may be typically it's a golden wristband at the very end, and in older games you will have hit like level 50, like the cap, after beating the final event. But I've seen players online there that are easily in the 100s, 200s in level there and stuff like that, and you gain XP there just by driving, keeping a good skill chain up, drifting, partaking with other players, racing against other players, beating events and things like that. So there's a lot of content there out of the gate. And I assume that as the time goes on, more things will be announced. Eventually the games will probably get maybe 2 or 3 DLCs, like big updates there with like new locations to drive and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward there to them, and I feel way more attached there to what I was when I was playing Forza Horizon 5, because I think it's mainly just the location and the culture there that surrounds it and the scenery of it all. Japan was probably a fantastic place to pick, and it has been something there that I know that the Forza Horizon fan base have been wanting for so long, and they finally now have it. They have done quite a good bit of fan service there when it comes to it. So anyone who's ever watched the anime Initial D, so it is probably the most well-known and iconic anime based around driving, racing, and it follows the story of a young boy who would essentially be asked by his dad there every night to go and drive his car around the local mountain pass, delivering tofu there to local residents in the mountains. And he'd been doing it for years, not having an official license or anything like that. And it follows the story of basically him being introduced to street racing or mountain racing, aka Touge, which is pretty much just racing. Like, these guys will go out on weekends there to the local mountain pass and ride up and downhill using cars, burning rubber, drifting, grip racing, you name it. It was done, and it cost them a lot of money. It was a very expensive hobby to be a part of. But this is what the culture is like. This is what these guys were doing on a Saturday night. You know, insane stuff. So having a game there that has some of these iconic locations, Hakone being one of them, Mount Akina, or it's in Initial D it's called Mount Akina, but in real life and in Forza Horizon 6 there now it takes on its real life counterpart, Mount Haruna. There's a downhill pass, not one-to-one in scale or photographic quality or anything like that, because they do have to still blend these locations in with the rest of the world, which I completely understand, but you can go ahead and run these iconic locations in a Forza game. And I think it's the first time that they've took like these passes and these iconic street racing locations around the multiple prefectures around Tokyo, around the center of Japan there as a whole, and it's really easy there to relate to, and it's really easy to welcome yourself into, because I reminisce back to the years probably 2020, 2021, where I was first introduced to a GTA 5 5M custom server called No Name Drift. Now this server was still by far, I think, the best accurate like 2-gauge street racing experience there, multiplayer, like with other players there as well, that you could just hop in and you were able to teleport yourself to these different points on the map, which were a lot of maps that were either custom, like hand created, or some of them were ported there from other official Initial D games, which are also laser scanned one-to-one recreations of a lot of mountain pass locations, and even had custom stuff in from like Need for Speed Carbon, the drift paths around there. They had the different Ibisu circuits, so Ibisu Minami, Ibisu East, West, and the likes, and they've went and ported these over, and all the cars in that server had their own custom handling, and you could use real cars. They were real branded cars, so you can use any Toyota, Subaru, Nissan, anything there like that was available on the server there at that time. It had its own time attack mode, where each track you could go ahead and start a timer, so you could track yourself, beat your own personal times, go for the server best, essentially a world record there. At that point in time, and there was a really big server, really big sense of community there as well. I just know that it's been shut down for years there now, so I spent a lot of time in that server, or in those servers, partaking in all sorts. It was kind of like a space there to really clear your head. Just put some music on in the background, as you see that I'm doing here there now. Forza Horizon has a great radio playlist, but there's sometimes there where I just want to turn it off, put my own music on, and just have that on in the background as I'm driving, and it's great. It's wonderful. So I know that the server itself has been dead there for a good couple of years, and I wasn't trying to find, but I was quite excited and hyped up for what was going to be pretty much the closest thing to that experience. And yeah, they did definitely nail it there with some of the fan services. An entire like gacha city radio with like all Japanese and anime like themed artists, like quite weeby artists and stuff like that, and they sat there singing all their tunes. A lot of just Japanese music there as a whole, which I respect, even though I don't understand the fucking word they're saying. I still find it quite entertaining there to listen to. There's a whole heap of genres underneath that sort of underneath that language of music there that I do kind of see myself being quite into, I'd say. And I'd like to say as well, I think one of the best things that they've done about it is, because they've chosen Japan, they've introduced a seasons system into the game. So I think it either lasts for 1 week or 2, or maybe half a week. I don't know. I haven't really looked in that too far into it there yet. But on a regular basis, it shuffles from season to season. So you go from summer to spring, and then when I first started playing the game, it was autumn. But now today, it's turned to winter. So now everywhere is surrounded in snow, and you get that sort of tone shift there, and the weather is like adjusted there too. You'll see some of the skyscapes and stuff like that, like the skylines that you get to see there whilst you're driving, taking these danger sign jumps and stuff like that. Absolutely just breathtaking there to look at. I'm sat there looking at this shit on a 240Hz OLED monitor, HDR'd up to my fucking eyeballs, with this PC setup there that I've got now, which is easily, soundly more than capable of doing, I believe it's about 120-ish FPS there at ultra settings, which is perfectly fine there for me. I have had no issues there, no graphical bugs or errors there first playing the game. It's super stable. The only times that the game ever does stutter or lag is probably during online play. I'd say online play there with other players. You can choose to be in Horizon to do Horizon solo. However, a lot of pretty much the real life players essentially disappear, and the actual driver tars get replaced by bots, which is nice in some ways. Other times it's not, because they don't ghost. So when you go next to a online player at speed, they'll typically go invisible. So if one person is driving really fast at you and you're going towards them, just before you guys were to impact each other, you guys actually ghost, I believe, unless you're not a part of a convoy. If you're in a convoy, I think you guys can see each other and make contact with one another all the time. But that's just if you've been invited there to one and you decide to join and just explore the world, drive around with other people. It's it's cool. It sounds. The experience there that I have this Nissan Silvia S13 build sort of thing. It's the first car, one of the first cars you get to pick at the very beginning of the game, and I chose it, and it originally had the Rocket Bunny kit, wide body kit already put onto the car. So I went in, I auto upgraded it there to S2 class, which is pretty fast in itself. I swapped the drivetrain out of it to all-wheel instead of rear-wheel, and then I just put what's it called? I put drift tires on it, and I also turned off traction control. And I've been teaching myself kind of the ins and outs of trying to drift on controller there in this game. And what I found out is that it's very similar to it is quite similar, and you can recreate how drifting works in the likes of GTA 5. Where I found out if you accelerate, turn into a 180, and then reverse at the same time, and then keep turning, you can make that full circle, and you can just start spinning around in fucking circles if you get the timings right. So you accelerate, turn right, reverse, turn left, and essentially you whip your car around in a full flat 360-degree circle. What I found out that you can do is it's very similar, however it's more, I'd say, accurate, actually reversing and getting grip whilst you're reversing to actually make the car slide in a direction where you want it to go to. So I've actually been on the Hakone site, or Seven Bends as it's famously called. I've been on that section of track practicing, essentially doing 360 entries in, and then I'll just keep on 360 entry in on the next turn, and the next turn you alternate your directions as you move. If I can get some, I'll get some. I may or may not get some gameplay of it there at some point, but I always found it really fucking interesting, the fact that I was able to pick this up as quickly as I did, because I've never really truly tried. You see all these videos of these guys doing mad shit there drifting, and it looks so much better there when you have a wheel, but I'm kind of stuck with controller. That's just the way it is. And you watch these guys doing all these super smooth drifts and holding the drift especially, and just letting it slide gently around the corner. It's a beautiful thing to watch. But when you have these mountain passes, you just know they're so just well suited for driving, for drifting, for grip racing. It makes sense, and it's quite saddening that Forza hadn't done this sooner. It should have been one of the first places there that they should have explored, but they didn't do it. But they've done it now, and I'm just very excited there to see what this game has in store there to offer, because I have not really been buying many games there that have been coming out there recently. I'll keep it real. I gave Resident Evil Requiem a go, and I was alone in my room with headphones on. I fucking shit myself and had to refund it within 2 hours because I got scared. I'm sorry, I'll admit it. I was a little bitch. I was a pussy. As soon as that big fucker started coming out the ceiling, I was out. Give me that fucking refund there, son. Holy shit. I was not partaking in that. That shit was scary as fuck. But I digress. I think I am just really enjoying this iteration of Forza Horizon. I never got around to playing 3 or 4. I played quite a bit of 5, but didn't get all the way through the campaign on this one. With 6, I'm just kind of doing a mix. I'm not solely focused on the campaign, but I'm also not solely focused on doing free roam stuff there as well, because just driving around is such a relaxing experience there in itself. It's really nice. It is a wonderful thing just to be able to explore all these roads, and you could tell that the devs done a shit ton of research, because there's a lot of these real life counterparts and real life sites and locations, and being able to pass the Tokyo Tower. There's this thing they've introduced, which is, I think it's called day trips, where it's a type of event where alongside the Horizon Festival there's also a second kind of path to go down, which is known as Discover Japan. And in this particular section you get to go on a lot of these day trips, so it's essentially like a big tour guide, and it teaches you quite a lot of history about the country, and how the different provinces and the prefectures and Tokyo City itself there came about, and the local sites and the scenes and things of that nature. And it's just a really nice thing if you just want to take the game just one step at a time, get in a belter car or something iconic, and just be able to drive around very calmly, very chill, very zen is how I describe it. And just really take in the scenery and the worlds and the locations for what they are. And I'm really happy there that the devs did so much research into it, because it is quite educational there at the same time. I didn't know that. I knew about the Edo period of that period of time during like Japan's history, but I didn't know that Edo was the original name for what Tokyo would become. It was just essentially a small fishing village, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, it's been a real fun game there to play, and it's keeping me interested. It is keeping me interested. So with that being said, I think that is going to be the end of today's commentary. There's been a Near Distance. I always enjoyed listening in there to my thoughts, feelings, opinions and rambles about Forza Horizon 6, and I hope to see you in the near distant future. Listen, look after yourselves, take care of one another, have a good rest of your mornings, evenings, days and nights. Accept what you can't change, but change what you can't accept. And I will see you when I see you. Alright, take care everyone, have a good night. Bye bye.